Did you know that just one piece of paperwork could be the difference between losing your personal life savings and keeping them completely safe? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into something that sounds, frankly, a little intimidating, but is actually incredibly empowering: forming your very own Maryland LLC. We're going to break the entire process down step by step so you know exactly how to get your business officially off the ground. Let's be real for a second. Are your personal savings, your car, your home, are they at risk right now? Well, if you're currently operating as a sole proprietor, or maybe you just started a side hustle without formalizing it, the hard truth is, yeah, they absolutely are. Operating without a legal business structure basically means your personal assets are legally tied to your business liabilities. If your business gets sued or takes on debt, your personal bank account is literally on the line. And honestly, that's just a high-stakes risk you do not have to take.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover why a Maryland LLC, naming your business, appointing a resident agent, filing your articles of organization, the operating agreement, and finally compliance and next steps. Let's jump in.
Step 1. Why a Maryland LLC? The heroic shield. So, like we mentioned with a sole proprietorship, everything is completely exposed. But an LLC, it acts as a literal shield. Your personal assets get completely separated from your company's liabilities. And what's absolutely fantastic about an LLC is you get this corporate level protection, sure, but you also gain amazing tax flexibility. It allows for something called pass-through taxation. That just means the business's profits are reported on your personal tax return, which lets you totally avoid that double taxation traditional corporations get hit with. It is just an incredibly smart structure.
All right, step 2, naming your LLC, making it unique and compliant.
So your very first actionable step here is to check if your dream name is actually available using Maryland's Business Express portal. And pro tip, grabbing a matching domain name for your website right now is a super smart early move. When you check that portal, you're going to see just how strict Maryland's criteria really are. It's kind of crazy. Let's say a business named Baltimore Pottery Co. already exists. You absolutely cannot register Baltimore Pottery LLC. Just changing a suffix from co to LLC, or adding a word like the or a, or even swapping the word and for an ampersand, none of that makes a name legally unique in the eyes of the state. You need a genuinely distinct core name.
On top of that, your name has to legally identify your business type, so you're required to stick a specific designator at the end of your name. The most common one is just simply LLC, but there are variations, like LLC with periods or spelling out the whole shebang, Limited Liability Company. Now, if you find that absolute perfect name, but you're not quite ready to file all your paperwork, you can actually reserve it with the state for 30 days. It's just a $25 fee. Oh, and if you're planning to operate your business under a brand name that's different from this official legal LLC name, you're going to need to file a trade name application, often called a DBA, which costs another $25.
Moving on to step 3, appoint a resident agent, your official representative. Okay, so before you can actually file your LLC, you have to designate someone to accept official legal and government documents on behalf of your business. Maryland uses some pretty unique terminology here. If you've looked into this before, you've probably heard the term registered agent. Well, Maryland calls it a resident agent. But don't worry, it's the exact same concept. This agent can literally be any Maryland citizen who's over 18. It can be you, it can be a friend, or you can use a professional commercial service, which usually runs you about $150 a year. But listen up, because there is a massive caveat here that you absolutely cannot ignore. Your resident agent must have a physical street address in Maryland. The state strictly prohibits P.O. boxes, virtual mailboxes, or UPS store addresses for this. No exceptions. Why? Because this person needs to be regularly available during normal business hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, to physically receive process servers or important tax notices. And since this address becomes totally public record, a lot of business owners who work from home just choose to hire a professional service. It protects their home privacy and guarantees they never miss a critical legal deadline if they're, say, away on vacation.
Step 4. File articles of organization, making it official.
All right, this right here is the core step. This is the exact moment your business is actually legally created in the eyes of the Maryland State Department of Assessments and Taxation, or SDAT for short. Now, this incredibly powerful document is actually surprisingly simple. To officially form your business, you really just need to provide your LLC's legal name, a super brief 1 or 2 sentence purpose for the business, your principal Maryland address, and, crucially, your resident agent's name, address, and their actual physical signature consenting to take on the role. So,
What's this going to cost? And how long is it going to take? Let's break down the realities here completely transparently. The base filing fee by mail is $100, but honestly, be warned. Standard mail processing right now is taking around 6 to 8 weeks. Ouch. Because of that, most folks just choose to file online through the Maryland Business Express portal. But here's the catch. Every single online filing is automatically treated as expedited by the state. That means they slap on a mandatory $50 expedite fee plus a 3% credit card portal fee. So your real, actual out-of-pocket cost to file online is $154.50, and they'll process it in about 7 to 10 business days. If you are in a massive rush, there are same-day options available for over $300, but you got to submit it super early in the day.
Step 5, the operating agreement. I call this the invisible step.
I call it the invisible step because this is actually an internal document. You don't file it with the state at all, yet it completely dictates the entire day-to-day functioning of your business. While an operating agreement is not statutorily required by Maryland to form your LLC, it is absolutely essential. Do not skip this. If you don't have one, your business is automatically governed by the default laws of the Maryland LLC Act. And let me tell you, those default state rules, they might not align at all with how you actually want to run your business, especially if you're bringing on partners. Having a professionally drafted operating agreement just puts you firmly in the driver's seat. It spells out exactly what percentage of the company each member actually owns. It outlines exactly how profits and losses are distributed. And by the way, that doesn't always have to perfectly match ownership percentages. It defines voting rights, it clarifies if the LLC is managed by all the members or maybe just designated managers, and it sets up critical buy-sell rules in case a member wants to leave or, heaven forbid, passes away. Ironing all this out up front prevents massive, ugly internal disputes down the road. Plus, establishing these boundaries helps preserve that corporate veil, that liability shield we talked about earlier. And on a purely practical note, pretty much every bank is going to ask to see your operating agreement before they even let you open a business checking account.
And finally, step 6, compliance and next steps. Keeping your LLC in good standing.
Once those articles are approved, congratulations, you have an official LLC. But all right, your work isn't quite done yet. To actually start operating, you're going to need to grab an EIN. That's an employer identification number from the IRS. It's totally free, but you definitely need it for your taxes and your banking. You'll also need to lock down any local or industry-specific licenses that your county requires. And then, we really have to talk about ongoing state compliance. I want to prepare you for this rather large number, $300. Every single year, by April 15th, almost all Maryland LLCs have to file an annual personal property return to stay in good standing with the state. Filing this return carries a mandatory $300 filing fee, regardless of whether your business actually owns any physical property or not. If you forget to file this, you literally risk forfeiting your right to conduct business in Maryland entirely, so mark your calendars.
But hey, I promised you some highly practical tips, and I've got a massive one for you right here. Look into the Maryland Saves program. Maryland has this state-sponsored retirement initiative, and they offer an incredible incentive. Employers who offer a qualified retirement plan to their employees or who just use the Maryland Saves program itself can actually claim a complete waiver for that $300 annual SSTAT filing fee. I mean, it is absolutely worth exploring to keep your ongoing overhead costs down. Now, as we start to wrap things up, I do need to quickly remind you that this explainer is strictly for informational and educational purposes. It doesn't constitute legal or financial advice. Business structures and tax implications can get super complex, so please always consult a qualified legal or financial professional to get personalized guidance for your exact situation. And there you have it. You've got the map, you know the rules, you see the actual costs, and you understand the steps. Forming an LLC gives your hard work the respect, the legal protection, and the rock-solid foundation it truly deserves. Go ahead and bookmark or save this explainer so you can easily refer back to it when you're filling out your application. So here's the real question. Now that you know exactly how to build that protective shield around your personal life, what's stopping you from taking that confident first step toward your business dreams today? You've absolutely got this. Thanks so much for joining me, and best of luck with your brand new Maryland business.